Welcome to Trading Lounge and the SP 500 for the 17th of July, and starting on the daily chart here. From this wave 4 here, it's possible to count this is what we went through last video, but it's possible to count 5 waves from this low here to this little high here, and that's the top there. I can just remove those there for a moment. So it's possible to have a top in right just here, but as I mentioned last week when we had a look at Amazon, so I'm going to bring Amazon across here, and this is just a 4-hour chart here, but from its low here we can see we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for a very nice impulse wave, wave 2 here, and then wave 3 that can actually come down a bit. But this structure here, the main point is it's not finished, so that means that the other market, the indices, are not finished yet either. It's just simply not finished. So that's why I've got this as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. So that's going to be much the same for the US markets as well here. So we can look at this top here as wave 3, and we still have wave 5 of 5 here to go in that instance, in that case. So this wave 4 here is probably what we're looking at, and this is the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree here, so that will also be roughly the 38.2% retracement level, and in that case from wave 2 here we look at this as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. So yeah, let's go in and have a closer look at all of that. So on the 4-hour chart, to start with here, this is the count that I don't like to ignore things, so this is possible here where we have wave 1 here and wave 2 here, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for wave 3, back for wave 4, and having this as a top here for wave 5 here. So it's possible. In this case we're looking, let's go to the 1-hour chart now. On the 1-hour chart, we're going back to the count where we can have this as, well, wave 1, wave 5, or wave 3 here. Don't throw tomatoes at me, but we're looking at this as the primary count as wave 3 here, and we're looking for an ABC pattern coming back here for this. We'll have a look at that in a moment. So, but what we have been doing here, and we've nailed it right down really well, I thought, is that we've had little wave 1 and 2 here, and then 5 waves up here for wave 3, ABC for wave 4 here, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here, and then we're looking for 5 little waves up here. That made a little bit of a struggle up here actually, but when we used let me find, I'll just go to the tick chart here actually. I'll come back to this. This is 100 ticks that we're moving into at the moment, because we also want to have a look at the downside here as well. So we really got every single little wave structure, and even coming through this last one here, which was a little bit wonky coming through here, we were able to go down to, that's 100 ticks, we're able to go down to that top there in 20 ticks here and find that top here in terms of wave 1 and 2 here. Don't need to go in it too much, but 5 waves up to 3 here and back for 4 here. And then from 4 we looked at 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here, then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 to get that top in here. So our target was always between 10 and 20 here, so that's there. But while we're here on this top here now, so we can see that, well, let's just borrow these here. It may not be the right degree of structure, but just for the purposes of counting, let's have a look at this here. So we can see that we've got our first little 5 wave structure to the downside here. I have to check where that wave 4 is there, but that's okay. And then we can also look at this. Well, I'll just borrow these here again as well, not to matter. It's just really getting a count here. down for 3 here, 4 here, and 5 here. So in a nutshell, let's just copy this here. I mean, the important thing about doing this here at the moment is that it does appear that we're getting our first impulse wave to the downside, and like I said, it doesn't really matter about the degree of structure at this particular stage. That's 5, that's cool. So what we're looking at here, just on this 20 tick chart here, is we're looking at well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've got a third wave here. Let me just check on that here. Possibly 5 waves up, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we do need to confirm 5 waves down from the top here in terms of wave 1 here and 2 here and 3 here and 4 here and 5 here. We really need a couple of things here. I mean, we could put wave 5 here, but it hasn't really made a new low. It doesn't need to, it just needs 5 waves in there. And it looks like we've got the 5 waves here. But even so, after this here, we would be, because it really appears that we've got 5 waves here. Just thanks for working with me at the moment on this. I'm just moving through it as quick as I can here. Because if we get 5 waves down, then we're going to get a corrective wave back up, which will, wave 5 may not make that new low there. So what we can do here is take that top here, this low just here. You may be able to bring that down further if it moves down further. It's not such a big deal. And this is our retracement level here, which is about right, because really this block here, that's our supply level there. So that's going to be the resistance there as such. So we can look now at roughly something like that. I did have these little guys here, did I? How annoying. So yeah, so wave 1 and 2 here and 3 here and 4 here and 5. This may not have finished here, and this may even be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 down here a little bit further. It doesn't matter, but once you see that kick back into 3010 here, because we've got 5 waves down here, then we can look to short through there. So if we go back to, that's not the chart that I want, it's this S&P here, and I'll need to move out of the tick because I can't really draw on the tick chart here. So from this top here, it's a little bit sort of rough, but as I just mentioned, we can start to get 5 waves out of this little move down to the downside here. So what we can do, in terms of if I'm wrong, then we know that the 61.8% is about here. So that means that we can look to take these tops out here. Well, we can even just bring it down to this one here. So if I'm wrong, because we're in a bullish trend, if I'm wrong, then we can go along at that point there. If I'm right and this moves down here, it can go a little bit lower, but it has an A and a B and a C wave into here, then we'll be coming down through here, and of course there'll be a bounce off here, and that will move through here, it will come back and retest it here, and then it will move down through here. But my point being is that if we were going to trade on the short side from here, if you're not already short, then these 2 lows through here. So that would be that low there, unless there's another one that gets made, wherever that low is here, and then you can short down to that point there, because we will be looking for a larger move down in terms of wave 1 here, wave 2 here, wave 3 here, wave 4 here, and wave 5 here to make wave A here. So we can move wave A over here, put wave B back over here, because that will come back up in that regard. And if we go to the, just check again here. this is where we're targeting down through to here. So we're looking down at 29.50 roughly. Okay, so 29.50. So on the hourly chart here, that's quite a long way to go. 29.50 is down here, so not far off. Be something like this is group 2 here that's going to offer support. Subgroup 2, 65, 72 and 80. Wave B here, which will be in 3 waves, retesting that supply level, and then 5 waves down into this space here. So that's pretty much what we'd be looking at. So if I take that wave 3 here, copy that, put that down there as wave 4. And also too, we've got to point out that I've done this really simply here as an ABC correction. But wave 4s can be tricky little suckers, and they can, they could turn into a triangle pattern where, we only get 3 waves down here, and so on. So there's 11 or 12 different corrections depending on which Elliottician that you talk to, and pretty much most of those complicated corrections will occur in wave 4s. So we shouldn't, we'll put this here as an A and a B and a C, but it could get a lot more complicated than that, in terms of, expanded flats, for instance, all the flat families and triangles and double zigzags and so on and so on. But we'll just stay within within the tick chart and the hourly chart to track, and we shouldn't have any problems at that point there. But anyway, that's sort of where we are. And as I mentioned, it's a good idea to keep an eye on Amazon here as well. It's still certainly got further to go to the upside there. If I can just I need to have a look at the tick chart here, but there's certainly wave 1 and 2 here, 1 and 2 here, and 1 and 2 here, and then the third wave here. So there's still more to be, still probably 4, 5, 4, 5 in here, and then that move. Still, that's going to leave us short, isn't it? That's, yeah, that could just continue to move up from there. Let me just. I mean, what I'm thinking here is wave 1 here, and then wave 3. Wave 3 really wouldn't be much, shouldn't be shorter than wave 1. It can, in the sense that it would make wave 5 the shorter. So if wave 3 becomes the shorter than wave 1 here, then we know that wave 5 here this wave 5 here is going to be shorter here still at this point. But whichever way we look at it, there's still more to go here. So we'll figure this out, and I'll have a look at this little structure. We'll have a look at all of this little structure in here in one of the next videos here, so we've got a bit better understanding of that. But as I can see here, this is certainly got further to move to the upside, unless this wave 4 here is an expanded flat in terms of an A wave here, a B wave up here, and a C wave down here, and then wave 4 would come over here. But let's just go step by step at this stage. But yeah, certainly this is not the top of the market here. Alrighty, cheers.